What is good, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another video of me talking about potential cards that could be added to Pokemon Pocket that could shake up the meta. Now, I'm excited. At the moment of this recording, there have been rumors and leaks of the potential set. I'll touch on other card concepts that I think could add to shake up the meta of Pokemon Pocket, because right now I'm really liking Pokemon Pocket. I mean, currently at this current state, there's a couple of cards that are just annoying to deal with. You know, who doesn't like a good brain dead stoking Charizard deck, or who doesn't like a good, you know, turn 3 Solgaleo sweep? Like, honestly, one of my favorite. Man, shut your Let's get into some of these new cards, but before we do that, let's talk about some of the cards that I talked about in the last video. I don't know if you have seen the last couple of videos that I have done on this. There's a lot of cards that you could potentially see, so I highly recommend you guys giving that a watch, because, you know, it can kind of give you a heads up and, you know, conceptualize and things to look forward to in Pokemon updates to come. One of them of which is Special Energy. Funnily enough, I was going to talk about Sabrina's Suggestion, but Sabrina's Suggestion is literally Penny, but whereas Penny searches through their whole deck, Sabrina's Suggestion actually looks at your opponent's hand, and you get to pick a supporter card from their hand and use it as this card's effect. I don't know if Sabrina's Suggestion would be too much of a doubling up, since Penny kind of does the same, but I thought it was worth mentioning because it was a card that I had on the table, but Penny got added, and I thought it was very interesting that they kind of tweaked it in a way that it searched your whole deck instead of just your hand. All right, let's get into this. Now, one of the most annoying things in Pocket, you know, you just spent a good 15 to 20 minutes, you know, fine-tuning a grass deck. You know, you got your grass, your leaf capes, you got all your Ericas, you got everything that could help to make your grass deck thrive and do well. And then as soon as you go online, you go right into versus, and you hop into your first match, the way your heart sinks when you see your energy for your opponent and you see that it's fire. Oh my goodness. A tale as old as time. Heart sinks every time. Now, I know that's usually annoying. It's always annoying when you're dealing with a deck of your weakness, and you gotta just brace yourself that the damage they're gonna do is gonna hurt a little extra more, and sometimes you wish that there was something that can help you deal with those troublesome encounters. Well, I'm here to help you out. May I present to you Weakness Policy. Now, Weakness Policy is a Pokemon tool card that will literally erase your Pokemon's weakness. So now if you're going up against a Solgaleo and you got a Sylveon EX, and you know that Solgaleo is going to come in and hit you for 120, but now 140 with your weakness, that Weakness Policy will help you out. Now you get to survive that, retreat back to your bench, and survive. Weakness Policy will help just to level the playing field a little bit when dealing with these annoying decks. There are plenty of other methods in which that Pokemon lose their weaknesses. Like, let's say a card like Jirachi, I remember, had a ability called Psychic Zone. Don't apply psychic weaknesses when your Pokemon or take damage from attacks. So we have like certain Pokemon that prevent weaknesses for certain types. And also there was a card very early on in Pokemon TCG called Bubble Coat, which as long as Bubble Coat is attached to your Pokemon, that Pokemon has no weakness if that Pokemon is damaged by your opponent's attack. Discard this card by the end of the turn. So this card actually works for only one round, whereas Weakness Policy will be like a traditional tool card, will stay on for the duration unless it's removed. So those are options, at least, that they could potentially add when dealing with the concept of weakness removal in Pocket. But I definitely think that could definitely help to kind of level the playing field if you you kind of deal with things like that. Now, we talked about a lot about weaknesses, but if you take a look at these two cards, one card is from Pokemon Pocket, one card is from Pokemon TCG, you might notice some things that are a little different. You know, they both got their HPs, they both got their attacks, you can see their retreats, and you can see their weaknesses, but whoa, hold on. Something's a little off here. This card not only has weakness, but in TCG, there's also resistance. Now, obviously, there's no resistances in Pocket, but I think they could add something along the lines of a metal goggles. Now, metal goggles is pretty much, you throw on these bitches, and essentially anytime they attack any of your metal Pokemon this card is attached to, you take 30 less damage. But I could see something like in Pocket where, like, let's say you attach like something called like a, I don't know, like a fairy charm, and if you attach it to your Pokemon, maybe that might provide you with like 30 less damage when getting attacked by dragon Pokemon, something like that. I think that would be a cool concept. Whether it be, you know, you attach it to a specific type of Pokemon and they take damage, take less damage, or you put it on a specific kind of item that provides you a resistance of other cards. Since we don't specifically have resistances in Pokemon Pocket, I think we have item tool cards that can kind of act in its stead to, you know, to mitigate some of that damage that you take. Now, there's also a lot of tool cards that can help and play into the weakness factor. Weakness policy, like I said, removes your weakness, but there also are tool cards like the Struggle Glove, where the Struggle Glove will actually increase your damage if the opposing Pokemon has its weakness to your Pokemon's type. So if you're going up against a fire deck and you're grass, you throw on a Struggle Glove, and next thing you know, you're hitting for an extra 20 to 30 extra damage just to, you know, wake them up for surprise. They thought they had an upper hand. Psych, you got the gun. Call the ambulance.
But not for me.
So Struggle Glove can definitely help to level the playing field. Now, that's just for dealing with Pokemon that have your weakness. Now, what if you got the weakness advantage and you really just want to shred up and just tear up your opponents? Well, I got a card for you too on the opposite end of the things. May I introduce you to the super effective glasses. Now, Pokemon Pocket, you got a Pokemon's weakness, you're doing 20 extra damage. In Pokemon TCG, it's not a plus. That plus is turned on its side, it's ×2. Imagine instead of doing 70 damage, you're doing 140 damage. Insane. Now, super effective glasses is even more insane in Pokemon Live because instead of it becoming 2x, it's 3x, which is fucking nuts. Now, I feel like obviously for Pokemon Pocket, I don't think a super effective glasses would 3x the damage. I don't know, maybe it'll do anything from 30 to 40 extra damage, you know, just an extra boomph to your damage. But super effective glasses could definitely make matches, especially when we go up against like grass Pokemon, you know, just tanky type archetype decks that are just really annoying to take down. It can just really help to kind of just shave down and just equalize some of the damage going on. So super effective glasses can be your ally in your time of need. Now, moving on to our next set of cards I would really like to talk about. I think we're all familiar with Team Rocket's Grunt, but there is a annoying card that you might come to hate from the Team Rocket line as well. And that's none other than Team Rocket's Handiwork. Now, Team Rocket's Handiwork acts very similar to Team Rocket's Grunt, but instead of you flipping coins and removing energy, Team Rocket's Handiwork instead discards 2 cards from the top of your opponent's deck. How annoying would it be that you just have, you know, you're looking for your last line or your just baseline Pokemon, that key card, you know, you're looking for a Cyrus, you're looking for, you know, your Charizard in your deck, you're just waiting to draw into it, and someone just puts down Team Rocket's Handiwork, they hit 2 heads, and just watch both of those cards just go right into your discard pile. A very annoying card, but it could definitely add a little bit of fuck yous into the meta. I mean, not to say there's already isn't a lot of fuck yous, but I feel like Team Rocket's Handiwork could be just as annoying as Team Rocket's Grunt, because Team Rocket's Grunt definitely has its place in some decks like Guzzlord, which is already, you know, flipping to kind of remove some of your energies. You're kind of just doubling that up for that turn. And speaking of Guzzlords and Ultra Beasts, with the Ultra Beast set, they introduced a lot of mechanics that revolved around if your opponent took a prize card or knocked out your opponent. It revolved around you benefiting, whether it be more energy or extra damage based on how many points you took, or your opponents took. And I think there's more cards that can add along those lines, like the Gym Trainer supporter card. Essentially, you can draw 2 cards if any of your Pokemon were knocked out during your opponent's last 2 turns. You can draw 2 more cards. So it's kind of a card that has this, a greater effect if you were knocked out that turn. So if you're really in dire straits of just drawing cards, you can wait until your Pokemon is knocked out, and instead of drawing the 2 cards that you would with a Professor, you can put out a Gym Trainer and draw 4 cards for that turn, which is pretty good in a clutch moment that if you might need it. All right, so let's hop over to Stadium cards. Now, I'm still of the belief that they will definitely add Stadium cards at some point. I don't know when, but I do feel like Stadium cards are coming, and to what degree and how, we'll have to wait and see. But while I do think it's happening, here's some more concepts for you guys to think about. They could potentially add Pottown. Now, Pottown is a very interesting card, especially when dealing with stage 3 decks, because obviously if they're going to be evolving into these different stages, they're obviously getting better, stronger, higher HP pools, and Pottown can definitely help to equalize that a little bit. Essentially what Pottown does is whenever any player plays down a Pokemon from their hand to evolve one of their Pokemon, put 3 damage counters on that Pokemon. So if you have to watch your opponent, go from Charmander, Charmeleon, to Charizard, they could accumulate, 60 damage right there, or if you just see them go right from Charmander to Charizard, there's 30 damage right there. Equalize it a little bit, Next set of cards I would really like to talk about. Let's talk baby Pokemon now. Baby Pokemon have a couple of different key attributes that really set them apart from other Pokemon. Let's take a look at Mantike, right? Mantike has very low HP, 40 HP. Most baby Pokemon, they range from either 30 to 40 HP, very low HP, and they usually have a Pokemon ability that essentially, once during your turn, you may put Mantine down onto your Mantike. This counts as evolving Mantike, removing all damage counters from Mantike. So at any point, if Mantike takes 1 or 10 or 20 damage, it'll completely just heal it all off, which is different because a lot of times when you evolve your Pokemon, they keep those damage counters upon evolving. But this one is different. And as you can see from baby Pokemon, they actually have energy-less attacks. Energy-less attacks is just as it sounds. They don't need any energy. In fact, you don't have to put anything on them. You can just use that attack as soon as you put it down. So baby Pokemon are really powerful cards because it can get you to do things without having to sacrifice a very valuable turn of putting an energy on that Pokemon. Like, let's say in the current meta of Pokemon TCG, oh my goodness, there is this fucking Bidoof. Now, it's not classified as a baby Pokemon, but it is a baby Pokemon because, like I said, it has that quintessential low HP, 30 HP for the Bidoof. It has energy-less attack, and at this attack, Itchy Pollen, if you played Pokemon TCG Live, you know that this attack in itself is just annoying. It does 10 damage, which is minuscule, but the ability that it does during your opponent's next turn, they can't play any item cards from their hand. It's just an annoying card to have. And a lot of baby Pokemon have some pretty annoying abilities. Like let's take Magby. Magby has an ability called Sweet Sleeping Face. As long as Magby is asleep, you can't even attack Magby. It has an attack, a colorless attack, play with fire. Defending Pokemon is now burned and Magby is now asleep. So essentially, you burn your opponent, it goes to sleep, and if you stay asleep, your opponent can't do anything to you. So you're just burned in the active. Annoying. So yeah, baby Pokemon could add quite a bit to the meta. I'm very curious about how potent and how crazy some of these moves that they'll give some of the baby Pokemon. But we'll have to just wait and see. But yeah. All right, bam. So of course, before I end off the video, I want to get crazy. I want to talk about something that I think could really shake up the meta and add a little seasoning, some pizzazz, some Zatarans, some Cajun seasoning to the meta that we currently have. And one line of cards I think could really help to spice things up would be none other than the substitution line of cards. Now, when I say substitution, just think of like the Pokemon RPG games, and when a Pokemon does substitute, usually that Pokemon goes into the background, they throw a little substitute, and you have to attack the substitute to even get to the Pokemon. There's a very similar concept in Pokemon TCG, and these are the doll cards. Now, one of the doll cards we have is the Robo Substitute. One of the key things is that the substitute has 30 HP, very low HP, but it has a very important job and perk. this card cannot retreat once it's in the active. And if this card is knocked out, your opponent can't take any prize cards for it. So essentially, this card is only objective is to just stall in the active to buy your turn. Your opponent can't get to you unless they destroy this card. Obviously, it has a very low HP barrier, so it's very easy to knock out, but it'll help to buy you a turn, you know? If you're trying to look for that extra energy to just add on so you're ready to attack for the next turn, this can help you buy you some time. Or if you're stalling to find that right card to attack in the moment of need, you know, you could throw this out there when you really need to attack it. Some of these doll cards, they have certain perks, like we have Lily's Pokédoll. Now, like the Robo Substitute, Lily's Pokédoll has the same perk that this card can't retreat, and if it's knocked out, you don't take any points for it. But also, Lily's Pokédoll differs where it has this ability, you may discard all cards from it and put it into the bottom of your deck. Now, that's kind of cool because you can always recycle it into your deck, and it will also kind of pressure your opponent. Either you put this in the active and just let me stall you and build up my deck, or you knock it out right here, you know? So it kind of forces their hand like, hey, if I don't, it'll just be in there until they decide they're ready to attack me. So that's that card right there. But not all doll cards are created equal. As we saw, both the Robo Substitute and Lily's Pokédoll both have 30 HP. They have little differing quirks about them. But the next doll card is also insane because the HP pool is a little more higher. That's right, we're talking about the Snorlax doll. Very similar to both the Robo Substitute and Lily's doll. This one, it can't be effective by special conditions, and it can't retreat. And it has the same thing. If it's knocked out by your opponent, you can't take any prize cards from it. Obviously, you see the 120 HP is a lot more tanky, a lot more girthy. At any time during your turn, you could also discard it from play. So you have that ability to kind of just stall into the active. It also has that much needed perk where you can see it can't get poisoned. But yeah, I think the doll cards will be very interesting to add to Pokemon Pocket. It will definitely help if you're really breaking hard and you're looking for your deck. If you have a little more intricate deck, it'll help to slow down and make the players play the game at their pace. Because I think this current meta of Pokemon Pocket, it's pretty fast. I mean, Pokemon Pocket is usually pretty fast, but Pokemon Pocket, it's really fast because sometimes some of these decks can destroy you literally by turn 3, turn 4. So you could throw out one of these doll cards to really just stall and say, hold on a minute, let me just get my cards ready before you start going crazy on me, you know? So some of these cards could really help to kind of, you know, even the playing field. And I think that's all Pocket really needs to do, is help even the playing field, so all types of archetypes and all types of decks, all types of types of decks can thrive in the meta without one deck kind of, you know, overshadowing everything. So as long as everything has its own little bullshit quirks, I feel like that will be great to have for a healthy meta. So I feel like the doll cards are really good for, you know, slowing it down for the more intricate decks to kind of at least get their footing. Because sometimes all you really need is like a turn or two just to buy you before you know, you're ready to attack, rather than, you know, it's turn 3, Solgaleo's knocking at your door and say, hey man, I don't know if you ready, but I already got my 2 energies and I'm ready to drop them pants. He's just like, hey man, fuck this Snorlax doll real quick while I get all my bearings, because I ain't ready for you just yet. You don't throw that Snorlax doll up, you know, you throw out them struggle gloves, you coming through with your little Sylveon and shit, and you next thing you know, you ready to hit that bitch back hard, you know, shit. Either way, my name is Moonskii. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the cards that I had to talk about. I still got more, and I would like to talk about more, so please leave comments of cards that you're really looking forward to that kind of stood out to you in this video. And yeah, there's nothing left in this video, so would you kindly get the fuck off my channel?